Hey,
What's up, guys?
happy Monday. I'm feeling it today. I got this big old monitor to my left. I need you too. I said that to me. Nah, I say it to you. Oh, did you switch on me?
That's right, I did. Welcome to the Day $1 Zero podcast, guys.
Switch it back to me. Just in case.
There we go.
Just in case, if you guys have not started listening on
Disclaimer,
iTunes,
disclaimer.
Spotify, obviously Facebook Live, YouTube, please check us out, especially on iTunes. We've gotten a lot of traction there, and if you could drop a review and or any questions or topics you would like us to cover, I would love to do those for you.
Boom. Boom.
Is that what you were going to say?
Yeah, that's
Gotcha.
perfect. That's perfect. So yeah, guys, we're switching it up a little bit today, so bear with us for any delays or technical stuff. We're trying some new little toys here to make it a better viewing experience and listening experience for all our listeners. Will, what are we talking about today, bro?
We got a great one today, man. We're going to talk about being physically and mentally fit. What that means, because it's not necessarily what you guys might think we're talking about, but what does it mean inside of each scope, and how do they go together? I think it's a great topic. I got some shit on my chest today. We're going to talk about. It's not White Claw this time.
Was there
I'm not messing around with any
was there
White
a little
Claw.
inspiration today from
There
this
was,
or what?
There was, and I'm going to forgive me. You got me on camera. See, this is what happens. So Eli's in charge of cameras right now. I don't know who let that be okay. He likes getting me in trouble. So for those of you watching, right, as much as we talk about business and entrepreneurship and being in the grid of it, I'm actually in the middle of negotiating a deal and
That's
making
right.
sure that things get coordinated in addition to our podcast. So I'm going to send this out, Eli.
That's right. I got you, bro. I got you. So starting off today, guys, mentally and physically fit. I got a call from Will this morning that he wanted to cover this topic. I'm guessing he was at the gym when he called me about this, so God only knows what kind of shenanigans he witnessed or went through at the gym. And he's like, hey, man, let's talk about being physically fit and mentally fit and getting your shit together.
Agreed. Okay, so something did start it, and it's been kind of going around a little bit. I know I'm not a white knight. Let's make that clear. You know what? Let me just give a disclaimer on like the white knight, like the gentleman who's like always coming to women's savior over every topic and this and that. I'm definitely not that. I'm definitely like, look, if I think something's right, it's right. If I think it's wrong kind of thing. And lately there has been a lot of I guess at least in my world, I hear a lot of like just women being put down, put in their place or put down, or expectations that are put on them. And it just kind of brought me to, and a lot of it was in fitness, you know, and a lot of these girls are moms, super moms that are crushing their career, that are trying to make sure they take care of their body and they adhere to their own personal, you know, wants as far as physical, but then also like just paying attention to kind of how society says women should look. It's almost like dad bods are acceptable because you're dad, and there's even posts out there that say like a guy with a dad bod's more trustworthy.
Right.
Just a ton of bullshit. But all joking aside, it's like, man, that sucks that like we didn't carry any babies, but for some reason like the dad bod's okay because we work hard, or not okay. And what sparked me was hearing some of these comments that girls hear, and then their friends or family or people at the gym or significant other that is saying those things is also not stepping up and leading from the front as far as setting an example.
Right.
Hypothetically, like if I were to say something to Kate, I should be prepared to like help her with it, right? Weight management, weight gain, whatever it is, like if I'm going to speak to it or agree with her, if there's some change that could be made or you could be bettering yourself, am I setting an example of just making sure I'm there to like help her push forward, right? Yep. So that was kind of a brew to it. You and I were also making some jokes just about humans, and me getting along with them. Is that the right way to say it?
Yeah.
We had a couple of hiccups.
Yeah.
At the end of the week last week, just as far as like standards and proficiency of standards and stuff like that. And I don't want to get too specific on purpose.
Just having a minimum bar for how you do shit.
So I handled those conflicts.
Correct.
To Eli's standard, he thought I was very friendly and very productive. And he was like, hey, man, I'm so proud of you for not killing anybody and just being positive. And I'm like, hey, you know what? Thank you. And I'm glad I was too. However, part of me also was like, hey, at some point, like people got to know their shit is shit too.
Yes.
Right. And a lot of where this brews is always comes down to your mental and your physical success. I think they are coupled together. I think people that lack that physical release and being physically fit, I sometimes question their mental fitness. And I don't mean you got to be 247 pounds, 8% body fat, super beautiful and shredded like me. I'm not saying that. So we're going to get into specifics about just overall health and wellness mentally and physically. But yeah, man, I was in some thought this weekend, you know, and let me just read you my notes. I'm kind of putting Eli on the spot today. But I'm going to read you a couple of notes and just kind of go over, man. I'm just, you know, of just cutting the bullshit of like, we spoke about being a good student. So one of my points was like, whether somebody's cussing or not cussing, like, are you seeking in general, like, are you seeking out to be a better human?
Yeah.
And when you are you too concerned when people say the shit word or the fuck word? And it doesn't have to be your style. I'm not saying that you got to go cussing. I cuss sometimes more days than other, but I cuss. I'm not saying that has to be your style. However, if you're seeking out something, are you too concerned with how someone talks, or are you focused on the message they have for you? That's my thing, right? And just a lot of this comes down to pain. We're going to talk about this, so I don't want to dive too far into pain. But yeah, write that down, man. I think it is unbelievable what people leave on the table as far as their potential and their future for themselves and for their family. I think they leave so much on the table over this thing called pain. I come from a pedigree where it wasn't optional. So I think I learned pain differently because I didn't have a choice. And thank God. But just cutting the bullshit and then also just not adhering to the yeah, but this, the yeah, but that, excuses. And the what ifs. Like listen, you only need to prove something to yourself, bottom line, right? And if there's something that you want to go seek, yes, seek growth. Yes, make sure you're organized, and we've got a ton of podcasts you can listen to that speak about that. However, you don't have to continue to explain yourself to everybody. And when you do, there's always going to be the yeah, but this, the yeah, but that, the, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if you shut the fuck up? What if that? What if you shut the fuck up? Period. And it comes from both. When you're telling people your future and what you want to accomplish, you're going to hear it from them. And even worse, sometimes you talk like that to yourself. Like you want to do something, but yeah, but what if this? Or but what if my husband or my wife or my business partner doesn't like it? Or well, what if it doesn't work out? Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Okay? Like, and get back into like how much you're leaving on the table. And then when you are looking at it, over what? What if? A what if or a but that's not even real yet. Like you're literally concocting things in your head that haven't even been brought to existence yet. And you're already stopping your potential because of something that's not even real getting in your way. So those things bother me. With that being said, I sometimes have the mentality to rub people the wrong way sometimes. And I think once you get to know me, you understand that everything I do comes from a good place. Doesn't mean you're going to take me any better. Doesn't mean I'm easier to swallow either way, right? And I get that. And then so one of my thoughts with that was like, hey, am I okay with that? Yeah. Like I do feel like I'm productive and I try to be easygoing. I try to be forgiving with things, with standards and proficiencies. Even if someone makes a mistake that's like you forget to wipe your ass kind of mistake. Okay. Like, listen,
it's going to be a mess afterward, right?
Well, and hey, you should know better. That's what I'm getting at is like a basic mistake. Like, hey, you take a shit, you wipe your ass. I hate to be disgusting with my comparisons today. It's Monday. However, I feel that. Okay. So I want to talk about rubbing people the wrong way as well. Just putting down people, like putting people down, but you're not prepared to lead them.
Okay.
Can't stand that. And I'm just shooting up. I'm just going from the hip here. These are the notes I had for today. And little fires. So when we talk, so now I'm going to, toward the end, I want to talk about this at the end if you're cool with it. And then we're going to let you switch the camera back to you and let you talk. But little fires turning into big fires. So what I'm talking about there is having like understanding direction and understanding like how to build momentum. Because sometimes we're looking at January 1 and I've got this goal for a year. And then I fuck it up and like, oh, well, the year's gone. The year's a waste because I said I wouldn't drink and I did. Or I said I was going to do this and I said I was going to lose this much weight and 90 days in, I haven't. So now I'm not on pace for the year and I give up. Or just feeling like, well, when I have this much money, I'm happy. We've talked about that before. But just these super big goals, which I love, but just perspective. Sometimes you're at a low enough point, or not even low, just a beginner's point all you need is just a good day. Okay, like let's correlate that to business as well. Like, I want to be a top producer. We've heard that bullshit. I've gone off on that bullshit.
40 deals a year.
Yeah, and it's like, well, okay, top producer of what? Of your team, top producer of your brokerage, top producer of the state, top producer in the nation for your company, or top producer in the nation regardless of company. You need to know, we've talked about this with goals before. If you haven't listened to those podcasts, go back so I can digress here. Be specific about your goals, but then also understand where you're at in that process of, hey, I just want to get a deal. Let me get a deal. I do want to be a top producer. I do want this. I do want that, but I just need to get a deal. Let me just get a deal and kind of go from there. Same thing, right? Like sometimes in life, I just need a good day.
Right.
Like, yeah, I want to have a good year. Yeah, I want to have a good quarter. Yeah, like I don't want my wife to hate me or my kids to hate me. And that starts with me. But I try to change so much so quickly with such a high expectation that when I do finally muster up to have the courage to go do it, I overdo it. I'm at the gym every single day. I'm running around that thing like a damn circus because I'm trying to just overcompensate for lack of progress for the last 20 years. And now I expect it in a week. And even though you've had a fantastic week, you can't see it because you're so fixed on what you think where you should be by now. And it's just not true. So I really, at the end of this today, I want to get into not sandbagging yourself, okay? Not making goals easy. No. Have a hard-ass goal, but understand where you're at and just understanding the value in just having a good day.
And
fuck, man.
And not giving too much credit to the bad days. Like if you're going to have and we'll touch on this, so I'll go into it, but when you have that fucking bad day, cool, it was a bad day. Next, moving on, right? One of the big, so kind of coming back to our title, right? Becoming mentally and physically fit. Tell me if I'm mistaken, but I always feel like the physical comes before the mental. Like it's easier to take control of your physical actions, kick ass in the gym, which over time will lead to a stronger mental state versus vice versa. Like people who aren't paying attention to their physical body, but they're spending so much time meditating and reading and doing all the self-improvement shit when it's like, hey guys, I think that could be amplified times 10 if you were to go out there and do some hard ass work. What are your thoughts on that? Like the chicken or the egg, physical fitness first and then mental, or mental then physical?
It's a great question, man.
Right? Maybe it's different per person.
That is a great question. It might be different per person. It also might be different per phase. As in, I do believe in muscle memory. I do believe in habits, right? Like for you, you might be in such a habit of getting up and going to the gym at 5 a.m. that you're there before you even know it. So it's like getting your body going at the gym. That's hard. However, for someone that hasn't worked out in 10 years, and that, you know, and they're getting up in the morning, mentally getting their ass out of bed that first morning or the first 300 mornings, it might be more of a mental hit getting out of bed before you ever go move your body.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
It's hard. I do think that, I mean, here's the deal. I think they go hand in hand. I am a firm believer, and this is just my scope, my experience. Your body gives out, you know, like long before it should.
Yeah.
I know your mental can last a lot
it's like
longer.
That 60% rule, man.
I don't know what the percentage is.
Yeah.
I'd like to say mine's a lot higher than most.
Dude, I've seen leg press tests where they're literally like hook up all the electrostim things to the legs, be able to measure like muscle activation.
Right.
And when a person is what they like their perceived failure on leg press, they're looking in like only 60% or 40%. I can't remember, but one of those, a very small percentage is actually expending all the energy that it can.
So part of that, right? Part of that is your adherence to pain. And then part of that, and I'm not a scientist, so I don't want to hear it. It's just my assumption. Part of it is probably your body preventing injury.
Yeah, that's exactly
like your body's gonna prevent injury and protect itself. It's just, this is why form and isolation and certain things when you're working out, just working out properly is so important, and understanding fatigue, because at some point when you are a certain amount of fatigue, depending on the support you give that muscle, there is validity to, hey, work out smarter, not harder. I think it's both. You got to work out smart and hard. But if you're not working out smart, it's really hard to push yourself adequately and preventing injury. So recovery is huge. But I think it's both, man. I definitely feel, regardless of which one you think is tougher for you, just cut. This is what I was talking about in the very beginning. Just cut the bullshit and just get fucking going and figure out whatever that means to you. That means you've got to start getting into the gym, and you got to start being consistent. And I definitely want to stay on track with the mission for today, because we're talking about what does it mean to be physically fit? What does it mean to be mentally fit? Okay. And then why do both of those apply to business? Okay, we're going to kind of get to those. But let's start off, man. I know you did training for a long time, and you're obviously, let me see. Yeah, you're super. No, there you are.
Hey.
Super shredded. I know that's a big thing for you. And you talked about, and you talk about it to me. I don't know if you've talked about it in public yet, so I'll put it out there for you. You were a fat kid in your perception, and you knew what it felt like to be fat, and you're like, dude, I'm never going back there. So there's some motivators you have, but let's just talk about, let's lay the ground rules here before we get too elaborative.
Yeah.
And just go, hey, what does it mean to be physically fit?
Well, dude, I think first of all, just from an optimization standpoint, I love optimizing shit. So it's like whatever I get into, I'm always looking at ways to get better and better.
There's
and
a delay,
better.
huh?
Yeah, there is.
Got
Always looking at ways
Sorry,
to
guys.
get better and better. But did I hit that or did I miss that, Fat? Did I miss it? Oh,
That's what I thought.
Thanks for letting me know. All right, so starting back over here so I can get my sound bite.
So we're going over some new production, guys. If you ever hear me talking, we are live streaming on several different platforms, and there's a slight delay. But Eli and I have to monitor the cameras and switch back and forth when we're running our mouth. So sometimes our code word is kettle corn.
Multitasking, yeah.
So if you ever hear me screaming kettle corn, it means we got to switch the camera.
That's awesome. I guess I should have been on you that whole time. I was
It's all
staring
good.
at the camera.
You're new. So expectations.
Right,
Let's just have
right.
a good podcast.
So when it comes to being physically fit, guys, like just optimizing your day, right? If you have a stressful job, why would you not want to be in the best shape possible? Why would you not want to feed your body the best food possible? But what I do understand is that until you've experienced what being physically fit and having nutritious food in your body feels like, a lot of times you don't even understand how shitty you feel. You don't understand how bad your sleep is. You don't understand how tired you are during the day until you've been disciplined enough to get your ass in the gym and give your body some nutritious food so that you have a baseline of like how you could feel. But to me, the importance of being physically fit, in addition to like optimizing your work and shit like that, all the generic entrepreneur crap that we say we're
It's
fit
only
for.
generic because people. Sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No, you're good.
It's only generic because people just keep talking shit.
Yeah.
Okay, like an awesome song gets released, right? Like what's a White Claw song? Like
He's a classic, man.
no,
I don't
man.
know.
Like what's her name?
Who?
What's that? I don't know. It doesn't matter. The point is,
White Claw song.
I'm being stupid right now. I was trying to be insulting. Not to you, not to White Claw, whatever. Listen, a super awesome song comes out.
Yeah.
A new George Strait song comes out. The song's great. Radio stations play it 30 times a day, and you just get tired of hearing it.
Doesn't mean it's not.
It doesn't mean the song isn't
yeah.
amazing. It's getting played out to the point where
Yeah.
you're numb to it. Same thing. So when you say, hey, I know, hey, it's cliche for entrepreneurs, hey, be physically in shape. No, fuck that. It's only cliche because people keep running their mouth, man. And it starts to devalue when you actually want to speak on it.
Yeah.
So, and maybe that's why I'm cussing today. By the way, if you watch this podcast, if I cuss more, I'm probably a little bit more passionate about that topic, or I'm trying to cut through the bullshit.
Yeah.
And sometimes
It's needed.
Sometimes, fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good knife. It
That
cuts
is.
right through some
That is.
bullshit.
That is.
It does. So let's get back to it.
So in addition to optimizing and all that stuff, I mean, dude, I just think being physically in shape says so much more about you as a person than anything that can come out of your freaking mouth. If I'm sitting down and I'm buying a car from somebody, man, if I see that their hair is disheveled, their teeth are yellow, their breath stinks, their shirt's wrinkled, they're overweight, it paints this whole picture, man, of just like, dude, you do not have your shit together. And I think everyone, whether they want to admit it or not, can definitely relate to that. Not to say that all overweight people are bad business people or don't have self-discipline. That's why I'm talking about even if you're in shape, but your hair's overgrown, your clothes look like shit, I'm giving that the same amount of weight as someone is like overweight.
Well,
as
now
far
we're
as just-
talking about a lot of discrepancies.
It's just taking care of yourself and your self-image.
But just so I'm clear, you're saying that people that are extremely overweight aren't lazy?
I'm saying it doesn't make them a bad business person per se just because they're overweight by themselves. I'm talking about like your business appearance, right? Lazy or not. Someone can still bust ass and not be lazy at all, but they just don't go to the gym and they feed themselves unhealthy food.
And you think that's acceptable? That's not lazy in some aspect?
No, definitely lazy.
So, because that's
definitely lazy. But I'm
so
just saying,
lazy. Don't give yourself an out because you think you're fat shaming right now.
No. I'm just saying I've done business with overweight people and they do just fine and they can crush at their job. But when we're talking about just how you can come off to someone that doesn't know you. And if you're trying to squeeze out every drip of water from that sponge that we have, you've got to make sure that you're not leaving anything unturned. And what are you leaving on the table too by not taking care of your body?
Correct.
Right. That's right.
I agree. And we're going to talk about work today, but
Yes.
we're also going to talk about just quality of life.
Yes.
Or, you know, like this isn't a fat shame,
Mm-mm.
but, and I get it. Here's the deal. There's some people that are just have some medical issues. Not going to get into it. I'm obviously not a doctor. I'm an idiot. However, right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also going to say that there's a lot of that's being thrown around, and people that have medical reasons, not getting
Mm-hmm.
into it, but they're also like a small portion. They're an extremely small portion to a lot of people throwing that around.
Well, and my asterisk to all that is, and the reason I said that is because there's also in shape people that I would not trust with business that are fucking lazy. They just happen to have a healthy obsession or something, or be obsessed with the gym or lifting, or, you know.
So, right. So the gym can, the gym can get to a point to where it's toxic, to where
Right.
it consumes you, and that's all you do versus telling your business. And I get that. But staying on point here,
Yes.
regardless of what pendulum you are on that, right? Like just being physically fit in your quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
I do like eating well and resting well and getting your body moving. Like just the amount of stress that takes off of you allows you to make better decisions, allows you to just minimize your knee-jerk reactions, minimize your stress, actually have a better perspective on what you're looking at. Like just, especially like in the morning, I'm not a morning guy, as far as workouts, but that's when I work out. But when I get a great workout in the morning, the rest of my day, the perspective on it is a lot different, man. And the way you see things and the amount of patience and fresh energy you have for your day, it's outstanding. And I think it's just, especially as a leader, if you're not bringing your A game every day, then you're going to be doing someone a disjustice. And my piece to that is, are you approaching, because this is guided toward entrepreneurs and business people that want to better themselves and scale, grow. Are you, when we talk about, hey, we've had people, before, yeah, he did a good job. I'm like, cool. Do you know they did a good job? Could you have gotten a better rate?
Right.
Could they have negotiated better on that house sale or house buyer? Could they have done this or done that? You don't know. And that's the super hard part, is like, you don't know what you don't know. So did you get a good service? Yeah, but compared to what you should have, you don't know. For you, on listening to this is where your integrity has to come in of, hey, are you attacking every day to crush it, or you just want to get by? Like, is just getting by, is that the standard? If it is, I get it. No, I don't get it, and this is not the podcast for you, right? Like, so we want to talk about like just how we optimize our day and why being physically fit is huge. So for me, mine's more mental than physical, but we're gonna get into the physical, like having a physical appearance, of course. And this is something like when I was kind of standing up for women earlier, when I was white knighting. There's also double standards to men. So yes, men in society, per my perspective, I'm not saying it's 100% correct, it's just what I perceive. The dad bods are allowed, and the fucking beards, whatever, cool, okay? However, what's not necessarily allowed for men is being insecure, right? And actually caring about your appearance. As a matter of fact, that's almost somewhat frowned upon now. Like if you even speak about being vulnerable, about like, I just want to lose some weight, it's like, oh, don't be a bitch, bro. Right?
Right.
There's that. And like just your overall appearance.
Yeah.
Like if you care about your appearance, you're metrosexual, you're gay, or whatever. And usually it's guys saying the jokes to guys, right? Like you and I have a ton of jokes during the day, but as much as like we're allowed to look worse, men are like, per my perspective here, men are allowed to look worse. But we're also not allowed what we expect from women. So when women care about their appearance and and they're taking themselves serious and look amazing, it's like expected and like good for you, girl.
Yeah.
But when guys care about their appearance to the point where like they've got a trimmed waist and they wear fitted stuff, it's like, why are you trying so hard, bro?
Yeah.
So yes, we have way more forgiveness to be lazy, but then when we do care and we show any level of care toward it, sometimes it's not allowed as much by men, right? So for me, physically, I do like to have a good physical appearance, man. I like to have my shit together as far as just looking appropriate in clothes and carrying myself well. Of course, right? But again, man, for me, it's more mental.
It is.
And I'm going to hold on to that because I want you to
Yeah.
talk. But the physical piece, sticking to that, and it kind of correlates to mental. It's hard not to correlate. Man, it's hard to like.
It all interweaves. Yeah.
Because I'm not a model. Hold on a minute. For those of you that are watching, believe it or not, I'm not a model. This jacket that I got from Levi or Calvin
Nice,
Klein,
dude. Just nice.
and they like fitted it especially
nice.
for my like, no, believe it or not, man, like I'm not a model.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right? One would assume, but I don't have much. I do like a command presence. I think just from my background and just how hard we pushed it, it was for, the physical for me was being prepared to protect myself and protect Marines and protect cops. So like, yeah, man, if someone breaks into my home or if I'm out with my family somewhere, I need to be able to handle business, which means if there's a building on fire, I need to be able to grab my kids and get them out and grab up my lady and get her out. And if I can get other people out, get them out. And yes, believe it or not, adrenaline isn't some like magic drug where you start picking up cars and throwing them across the street and shit because you got adrenaline. Nope, you're tired, you're scared, you're sweaty. Those situations are super hard. So for me, the physical is just being physically prepared to protect my family and physically prepared to adhere to any circumstances, even now that I'm in civilian world. I'm not a cop, I'm not a Marine. But if something goes down where I'm at, I want to make sure that I'm physically prepared to just contribute to that situation in a positive manner. And I guess the vanity side is like, yeah, I still like to look good in clothes, and no, I don't have to be the most trim guy on the fucking planet, but I do like to have a certain command presence and a certain appearance.
Yeah.
So for me, that's where the physical comes from. Not sure what it is for you, but I'm excited to hear.
Well, let's, dude, I mean, really, it all boils down to, I mean, yeah, looking good in clothes and all that shit, dude. But outside of that, man, like, it is all straight mental, dude. It really is, especially like when you mentioned getting that in early in the morning. The hands down, the best mental aspect of that is the psychological advantage I feel when you're walking into the office at 8, 9 o'clock and you're in fifth fucking gear, man. You're cruising and everybody else is in there and they're still getting their coffee. They're still walking down the hall all slow and they're still out of it and groggy from the night before. But man, you've gotten up and you've already done the hardest shit that they'll do all month. That morning, right? Prior to even walking in the office. I love that psychological advantage right there.
It feels great. It feels super great. And again, unless you're a bodybuilder or a model like me and you go to Europe a lot and like model fucking jackets, Jesus.
Model stuff.
I can't pull it off. When you actually dissect it, when you sit down and look at it, it really is hard to like take a certain level of physical fitness beyond a certain point, because a lot of it is like, so the other physical I had that's actually more mental was, all right, well, what about how I feel physically in the gym? Like pulling that heavy weight and accomplishing 2 or 5 more reps than I did the last week and making progress on that and like feeling that sweat and that pump and like just getting fucking going.
Accomplishment, yeah.
Yes, it looks cool like in the mirror and like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, whatever, right? Like cool. But it all correlates, man, to that mental achievement of, hey, I've put in the work for this long.
Yeah, bro.
And I just hit 405 on an incline bench for
dude.
2.
Yep.
Stupid weight, at least for me.
Yep.
Or, hey, I got 24 reps instead of 22. And, like, I'm not sandbagging myself. Like, I'm pushing heavy weight to my max, and I was able to get 2 more reps than 2 weeks prior. And you knew, hey, it took 6 more workouts, grueling workouts, and recovery to achieve just 2 more reps. Like, you feel awesome about it. But, again, even though you're getting that physical pump and you're sweating, whatever, it's mentally, like, just those endorphins that are going. And no one's there to cheer you on. And there's something to be said about private achievements.
Oh, bro.
Like when you don't lie to yourself and you're really putting all that weight on that bar and that really is your max and you just hit it for 3 instead of 1, or you just got 24 reps instead of 22 and you know that was your limit 4 weeks ago and you hit it and no one's around. No one's around. No one's patting you on the ass, but you know, man, that's all I had. And I got 2 more. You're like, hey, like just that individual, quiet, private accomplishment, like what that does for your day, that turns into your week, that turns into your quarter, right? We talked about that fire. Sometimes I just need a good workout. Sometimes, man, I just need a good day. Very true. But capitalize, almost like a candle, like that good day, let it light another good day. That lights another good day. It lights another good day. And then before you know it, man, you've got this huge fire going. And if you have a bad day inside there, that bad day, that wind, it's not going to blow out that large fire.
Yep.
Maybe a candle. If you've only had one good day and you have 1 or 2 bad days right after, man, it's hard. That wind is going to blow that candle out. But if you got a huge bonfire, right, it's so hard to put that out.
Yeah.
Like it almost has to be deliberate, which means physically, like if you're creating these habits and you're consistent and you're going in there, not just checking the box, and you're accomplishing what you set out to accomplish for your physical goal, that bonfire gets so big, you literally have to deliberately put that fire out. As in, you're making a conscious choice to just quit the gym or running or yoga or whatever you're doing. It's not like one bad day here, one bad day there. Like you're deliberately making some toxic decision and you're moving in the wrong direction, which is super rare. Unless you're a drug addict. I don't know.
Dude,
like I can't even imagine what would take you from that bonfire.
That's such a good tip right there, man, because you always fuck up. Like, so you're always going to mess something up. Whenever you start on a new path or a new goal, or you're taking on some new thing, you're going to mess it up. And there's going to be life that happens, and you're going to miss days. And like Will's tip right there is so freaking important, where it's like, first of all, know that things are going to happen, and then have the understand that when that day happens, the next day, get back on it. Just don't let that one day, don't let the bad fire, the bad day go into another bad day and then another bad day.
Correct.
Get right back on there. But dude, people will have these big elaborate dreams and these big goals, and then the second one little thing goes bad, or like you said, they eat something off their diet. Well, I ate that thing. Might as well just ruin the entire rest of the day or the entire rest of the week.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And this is why sometimes New Year's resolutions, they get to me, because it's like, okay, I'm not drinking for a year. Like, dude.
Yeah, right.
Listen to me. Yeah. Listen. First of all, if that's your goal, I'm not shitting on your goal, but that's a big goal.
Yeah.
And ask yourself, like, why? Like, why is that my goal? Am I an alcoholic? Because then maybe you're seeking other help. Because you can't handle your alcohol. You're abusive with it, so you just need additional help. I'm not going to speak to that because I'm not a doctor. I'm an idiot, okay? However, if you're just that person that like gained 12 pounds in a year because you've been drinking too much, it's too much beer. You're right. We have friends that like, dude, I gained 14 pounds just drinking beer.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm not drinking beer all year. It's like, okay, all year. Is that the goal? And if it is the goal, why?
Yeah.
Like, why all year? Like, versus restructuring and having a healthy, adequate diet, and understand like it's okay to have a beer, but we've just got to like earn that beer by physically putting in the work and just making sure our portion control, like we do with food, we just adhere to. You and I have some drinks every once in a while. If we take a client out, if we're talking with Gavin and we got a meeting going on, we'll have some vodka, or we'll have some mules, whatever. They've just got to be calculated. Like they have to be accounted for. Yeah. And then you just got to portion them out. So, but the problem with these New Year's resolutions, sometimes, like from my experience and just talking to friends, is like they're giving up something for a year. It's not necessarily like, I'm not trying to say you're a piece of shit and you can't stick to a goal, but kind of.
I am. Yeah,
but I'm also saying, like, why are you
true.
trying to stick to that for a year? Like, why is that the goal in the first place versus like just being a good, let me say this and I'll let you kind of elaborate. Just being a good, well-rounded goal setter, right? Because it's like, are you just ignoring something? One, if it's a medical problem, again, I'm not talking to that. But if we gained 14 pounds, okay, I'm cutting out carbs. I'm doing keto. I heard about this diet. I'm not having a carb for a year. Fuck, you're going to be an angry person. Yeah. But is that a good goal? Or just being well-rounded and learning diet and nutrition and intake and what carbs do and why they do, when they do, and understanding when to eat it, how to eat it, why you're eating it, and just learning about diet and nutrition, and then learning your body, which should be the goal. And then you get to know, like, hey, like for me, dude, I lose weight eating 400 carbs a day. Yeah. Like when you and I were tracking mine, and like now I'm doing intermittent fasting, all good, and I just barely eat, which is not the right way to do it. But well, I don't barely eat. I eat good stuff. Yeah, you do. But I put it into a window. That's, but when you and I were like tracking food, I was losing weight eating 400 grams of carb. Right, people are like, dude, if I even look at a carb, I fucking get fat. And then some people do like high fat diets, right? Dude, I get dizzy on high fats. I've done keto just to say I did keto so I could speak to it when I was in the nutrition world, the fitness world. And I felt lightheaded. I felt like just drunk behind the eyes. It was super weird. Good. Again, but I just learned my body, and I learned like I definitely do well on fats as long as they're incorporated with a carbohydrate diet, right? And you need fats; they're healthy. But I just learned my body, and I learned a process. I wasn't just ridding something of my body and then being hard headed and ornery and ignoring that for an entire year to say I made progress. It's not necessarily progress. So I want you to kind of elaborate, but just being a well rounded goal setter, because just not drinking for a year, depending on the reason, or I'm going to lose 10 pounds this year. Okay, let me say this, and I'll let you elaborate. We all know that friend that wants to lose 10 pounds. New Year's resolution comes around. We want to lose 10 pounds. And they end up losing 40. Yep. But it was the same 10 4 fucking times all year when you're like, dude, if you actually stuck to what you're doing, you lost 40 pounds. Yep. But like and here's the other problem, like with that end goal, right? It's like once that person lost the 10 pounds, it's like, oh, well, I should reward myself. Versus being fundamentally sound with habits consistently, not just trying to reach a finish line to say, like, I did it just to say I fucking did it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
A couple things there, dude. That's just lazy goal setting, bro. Anytime anyone is saying, I'm not going to do anything for a year, first of all, like Will said, you don't even know if that's your actual problem, right? You actually need to stop doing that for a year, or are you just being lazy and saying that you're going to, and you think all your problems are going to be solved by that? Subconsciously, too, I guarantee you know damn well you're not going to be able to keep that up for a year. And if you do think that, then you've actually never tried to cut anything out for a year before, because you would know how hard it is. And just a lot of times it's just not that necessary to put yourself through that sort of letdown when you could just not be lazy about it. Do your research, find out why alcohol may potentially be your problem, if that's what we're talking about for this example, and then find out how to adjust it, and then set a smart goal that you're actually going to stick to. Don't do that. I'm going to stop this for a year bullshit. That ain't going to work for you.
No.
And
again, like, I get concerned because it's like, well, what's after that finish line?
And then what?
Well, right. Because here's the deal. In business or whatever, maybe like what's past that finish line? A lot of times, and it's okay in business, like, hey, I want to hit this much in revenue. Cool. What's after that? Hopefully a bigger goal.
Right.
Or not. Because whether it's in business and it's healthy to have a goal of this much revenue and I'm going to move to this much revenue, what's more important about that, in addition to, well, I'm going to move up to this much revenue now, is the fundamentals and the process that got you to the first revenue goal in the first place. Because now it's about scaling that process that should hopefully equal a higher revenue accomplishment that following year. So again, like, it's the habits are never gonna go away. They're gonna be consistent. And New Year's resolution goals, like, you do it for a year. Like, what do you do? Like, on that following New Year, like, you just have a carb coma,
no one
or
knows,
you just shrink yourself to
death?
No
one's ever made it that long, bro.
Right?
No one knows.
It's like Third Bridge out here in Denver, right? Like, everyone's been to the bridge, but ain't no one seen no damn Indian. And don't tell me they play drums and shit. Stop it.
I have. I saw it.
Oh.
They did.
Bro.
I went through it, man.
We'll talk about
it.
All right. Moving forward. Listen, Eli believes in that shit. I don't.
I do.
I've been to hell and back, Eli. It ain't there. I got rid of it. All right. We talked about little fires. That was a big one, right? So, I know it's kind of a corny analogy, but just using one candle, and if that candle represents a workout or a day, having that candle light the next candle, which eventually build a bonfire. It's a lot harder to destruct that versus just one day. But understand, like, that bonfire, that home run hit, it's not going to happen. Like, you got to put your reps in. But give yourself, as hard as I am on people and myself, the flip side of that is I also give myself forgiveness. I don't give myself forgiveness with consistency and hard work and integrity and just the grind, but I do give myself forgiveness understanding what phase I'm in. So when I started real estate, and I was literally, dude, sleeping in a pantry. That's a real story. We're going to post pictures out one day.
Do it.
Jesus. Back then, being, still studying for real estate, guys, I was so fundamentally sound on super basic shit. Literally, I woke up in the morning and I got my workout in. I had to get my mind right. I had to get a good sweat, get those good feeling endorphins going, get my mind right. And then I studied all day, which is what I didn't like studying for real estate. I got it done super quick, and like, I'm a smart guy, take a test, whatever.
Terrible shit though. I hate it.
But I got my mind right first. Okay. After studying, I drove Lyft at night. Stupid, right? Like, I had a little bit of money in savings, not much. But like, why? And then like, hey, I made $60, $70 in a night. One night I made like $250, right? I'm like, why? Well, because it makes me feel good. Like, at least I can put a little bit of money toward my daughter. Yeah, but Kate works. You don't need it. You're right. I also enjoyed doing something that was worse than studying. And that was people puking in my fucking car. Okay. Like I hated that more than I hated studying. So guess what? I kept studying. So I never had to do this Lyft and Uber shit ever again. And people like, I also had a qualified resume, man. I could have worked for corporate. I had a couple of offers that were decently high up as far as my resume from the fitness company and doing stuff in the military, but I was working for the man. I didn't want to work for the man, which means I either had to build something on my own or be a Lyft driver. Okay, like there was nothing else for me to do. I was either going to just drive a fucking taxi around or I had to build something. Well, I'm going to build. So I did something deliberately that was worse than the studying part because it gave me perspective. And it let me not get so emotional about the studying and just get it done, right?
It gave you perspective, but what it also did was it also occupied your time. So when you put in 8 hours of studying and you're lifting, you're fucking done. You're not going to study for another 8 hours. Your brain's fucking fried. However, if you weren't doing lift, man, what other stupid shit would you be sitting around waiting to get into?
That's a great point too.
That's good. And that is taking a small fire and then it's able to be extinguished. When you start making bad decisions and you're socializing too much, you're hanging out with just people to go hang out with, and then
and that's relevant to a lot. Like we have a younger demographic that listens to our podcast, so that's definitely a relevant point. I was old enough, man. I wasn't hanging out with idiots. I wouldn't have been doing that, but I need to do something. Would, though. Right? No, 100%.
People would though if they had that little bit of time. And dude, time can be fucking deadly, dude. If you're on a mission and you've got free time, if you're not taking that time and occupying it with something productive,
correct,
things are going to start slipping in there, and that's a slippery slope, man. It starts with one little thing, and then it's like, shit. Next thing you know, 3 months has gone by. You're still not licensed. You're drinking more than you have. You're hanging out with people you haven't hung out with in a while.
Fuck it. Everyone's a realtor anyway, so I guess I shouldn't do it anyway. Like you start second guessing yourself. And dude, I'm so glad you said the word productive, because in the word productive, it does not adhere to fear. It does not adhere to pleasure. It does not adhere to anything else. It's literally, is this productive or not, period. So my process was get up, get your mind right, get a good sweat, keep your body in shape, keep yourself physically prepared, get your mind right. Then I would study all day, and then I would go do lift at night, and then I would go to bed. But that was my system. But back then, it was so basic where it was day by day, man. It was boom. All right, cool. Good workout. Awesome. Grab a shake, go study. Hey, studying went well. I got I got 4 chapters done. Awesome. Oh, I got 4 chapters. I don't need to do lift. Do lift. Oh, I made 250 less. Like, nope. And sometimes I would do that. Sometimes I would I don't have to go tonight. Yeah. And then I started giving myself goals with that. If I made a certain amount of money during the week, I could not go Friday. All right, cool. I won't drive lift on Friday. I'll see my daughter. So I would give myself goals in there. But again, it was at a small level. It was day by day. Just win the day. Give yourself small incremental goals to be rewarded by. Like, seeing my daughter on a Friday night instead of having to drive lift. Yeah, that made me work harder during the week. But also setting a goal gave me an expectation, so it actually got more out of me than just, even if I didn't have a goal and I worked Friday, would I actually work for 6 hours or would I do for 2 and get lazy? Like, you just never know. So having a goal throughout the week helped me reward myself on Friday. So I was doing the same things we talk about, but instead of at scale, where you and I are talking about quarters and years and all this stuff, I was literally, man, just day by day. And I think it matters. So just lighting those candles and building that bonfire day by day, it's huge. We talked about physical appearance. That was a big one for me. And I don't think you have to be shredded. Here's what I do think. Like, let's go back to everyone's integrity. Okay. Are you doing all you can with what you have?
Yeah.
Like, are you getting an hour workout every day? Are you getting an hour workout 3 times a week? Are you going for a walk? Are you going for a jog? Are you doing sit-ups and air squats and push-ups and pull-ups in your house, like an old school Rocky style?
Something. Do you have a system?
Do you have something that says, hey, look, I'm doing all I can. Like, I can't afford a gym membership. Okay. Are you doing push-ups and sit-ups and air squats and a light jog or a light walk? Well, I can't run. I'm overweight. Are you walking? Are you doing all you can with what you have? Like, this is where you have to, like, you don't have to be me. You don't have to be Eli. You don't have to be Mr. Olympia. You don't have to be a marathon runner. But you do have to have some integrity with yourself and say, look, regardless of health risks I have, like, okay, maybe you are diabetic or whatever it may be. You have some health concerns. I get it. However, we can all do something. Dude, so I think beyond the muscles and like what the muscles look like, I think, again, it falls back to mental, right? Like, when I know with integrity that I'm doing all I can with what I have, whether it was living in a pantry and going day by day, or like now you and I are scaling and we're looking at years, right? Am I doing all I can with what I have, with my workouts, with my physical? Because the way it makes you feel, not other people. I don't care if people like my abs or like my muscles or dislike my muscles. I don't give a fuck. And I don't, because I know what it does for me. Yeah. I know what like gym accomplishment and physical accomplish does for me. And I know how it correlates into my mental, right? So understand that how you feel about yourself and what you're achieving, even if it's just walking your dog right now or your dog misbehaves, so you just walk by yourself, whatever it is, you'll incrementally get better. That walk will turn into a longer walk, which will turn into a slight jog, which it turns into a walk, run, walk, okay? Which turns into just incremental improvements day by day. Are you doing that, or are you fucking lazy?
Oh, well, and here's the thing too. A lot of people, they're going to start down that path, right? And here, dude, people just have a real hard time being real with themselves, because what happens is they let themselves get pumped up and motivated in the short term, and they, you know, maybe they do have knee issues and they can't run, but they're like, hey, but I can walk. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now what happens is they're going to start walking, and then on day 4, they're going to step on a little crack and bend their ankle, and it's going to hurt a little bit, right? They're watching for a fucking reason to give themselves an excuse to stop their goal. I swear to God, more people than not, when they embark on a journey like this, they're not looking for solutions on how they can get around these obstacles that are going to pop up. But the second one does, oh, hey, I twisted my ankle, and now they're on the fucking couch for 4 weeks because they said I got injured, and now they're the victim, and they didn't stop their goals. They got injured, and now they can't accomplish their goals.
Do sit-ups. If your ankle is actually that sore, but it's not broke, even if it is broke, do sit-ups.
Yeah, literally anything.
Do something.
Literally
or,
anything,
hey, are you also attacking your diet? Because I'll tell you what, I could stop going to the gym right now for 6 months. And I'm going to lose some muscle. I get it. But I'm gonna slim down and lean up and be super shredded because of my diet. So again, like when we talk about are you doing all you can with what you have, that also correlates to what you decide to put into your body. But, you know, I think so much derives from, regardless of how much support you have, right? Like your ankle hurts, so everyone in your life supports you. Fuck them, okay? I'll be the guy that tells you to stop it.
Yes.
Okay. And
Everyone
I'm also
that guy.
And I'm also gonna be the guy that goes for a walk with you. Okay. And help support you and keep you accountable, right? And give you that jump start. I will step up and do that, right? Like, but one, be afraid of people that just make everything you do and you have an excuse for everything, and like everyone supports you, like your mom. Like, dude, my mom loves me. I'm her favorite. I promise you that. I don't care what my sisters say. I'm the favorite. I can do no wrong. So here's the deal. I don't go to my mom for a lot of correction, okay? Because that's not the best place to get it. I'll go to you. I'll go to Tosh. I'll go to someone that's going to go, hey, man, fuck no.
Right.
Shut the fuck up. Right? And I don't need that much. Usually it's just small incremental adjustments here and there. But I got to be resourceful enough to know, like, hey, are people taking care of me, or are they feeding me my own bullshit that I want them to feed because they pity me?
Yeah.
Be careful of those kind of people. Secondly, more importantly than those people is how you feel about yourself. And this is something that barely gets talked about. Integrity. We think integrity is like, hey, integrity is, and I'm mocking whoever the fuck right now. Integrity is doing the right thing when no one's looking. Yes, but for who? So integrity only applies to like doing the right thing when no one's looking for other people. So like I have someone's house and I'm putting it on the market and they're out of town, but they give me permission to be in their house and get it ready and I don't steal their stuff. Hey, you have integrity because you're doing the right thing when no one's looking. They have no cameras in their house. You could completely steal something and you choose not to. And obviously I'm being extreme for the sake of the example. Is that integrity? Maybe. Yeah. On one level, when we talk about integrity to others, right? What about integrity to myself? What about when I say, hey, I'm going to do this? We fucking lie our pants off to ourselves.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We lie our pants off to ourselves. We promise ourselves and we talk to ourselves more than anyone else, and we let ourselves down so much. But that is never talked about. The integrity and the honesty is always talked about how it's projected outward and how you're treating others. Here's the deal. How we treat ourselves directly correlates to your standard and how you treat others. And how you allow others to treat you, motherfucker.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Period. Like, I'm super hard on me. I've got a ton of integrity with me, not without flaw. Don't get me wrong, right? Like sometimes I touch your butt. That's technically cheating, right? Sorry, Kate. Sorry, Megan. Kate. Sometimes I tickle his butt. I get it. Okay. However, my integrity with myself and what I say I'm going to do, like when I'm in the gym and I'm hitting a rep, or I say, hey, today's a heavy day, I'm doing this. Do I bitch out because I'm tired? No. I said I'm going to do this. Am I doing it? No one knows about what I said to myself. Yeah. No one's holding me to that standard but me. And that's why it's so important, because no one is there to make you or force you to do something. So there's no external motivation you're going to get. Okay. Are you going to do it or not? And me doing that, okay, allows me to keep my standard of how I treat others in business and personally to the highest standard possible for myself, not without mistake. And knowing how much respect I have for myself and the integrity I have for myself with what I want to accomplish, it prevents me from allowing people to abuse me or walk on me and draw that line of like, hey, don't ever fucking talk to me like that again. Okay? Because I've earned too much, man. I've been through too much and I've earned, and this is what we sometimes call a chip on the shoulder or an ego. No, look, here's the deal.
Self-respect. Like,
I've gone too far in life.
Yeah.
I've sacrificed too much and done too much for me to allow someone to treat me a certain way personally, period. And these things matter. But again, the biggest thing we don't talk about is our integrity that starts and ends with us. Never talked about.
Dude, why is that not talked about? Like, hearing it described that way, I'm like, that's what freaking integrity is, man. Like, doing what you said you were going to do to yourself. You're right, because there's no, it's like double, because even when you do go through with it, there's no one patting you on the back. And when you don't go through with it, there's no one scolding you. Like,
I think that's why.
There's no praise, there's no reprimand, which makes it the easiest thing ever to like fuck around with.
Dude.
If you can master like doing what you said you were going to do to yourself,
and not telling anybody,
not seeking the praise, like, God, you're right, man. The self-respect, the confidence, all those traits that do make us good business people, that's imperative, man.
Everything starts and ends with you.
Yeah, it does.
Okay? Like, from how you treat people to how you allow people to treat you, from how you handle circumstances to how you react to circumstances. Like, whatever you're putting out and whatever you're taking in, whether that's how I treat someone, how someone treats me, how I create situations, how I react to situations that have come to me. All of those things they start and end with you, right? Like your pinnacle piece of all this is like, hey, where's my own standard with myself? And what am I doing physically and mentally to prepare myself for every recourse possible? And how do you, like, what's your barometer? Like, how are you mentally prepared for the unknown? How are you prepared for the physically unknown? Like, what's your barometer? What are you self-inducing that allows you to speak on something? I don't know. And I'm really good at staying out of my lane. Like, if I can't speak to something, or if I haven't gone through it, and like, as you guys know on this podcast, I run my fucking mouth. I keep it within a scope of what I can speak to. And a lot of that comes down to experience. The more experience I've got in life, the more I realize I don't know shit. Okay? Like, the wiser I get at 35, the more I understand.
Same.
Here's my scope. Here's what I know. And it's not just leadership. It's not just culture. No. It's just my experiences in life, right? Well, like, there's just going to be some things I can't speak to.
And even that is always evolving and shifting and morphing and changing. It's not like you get these experiences and you have these like hard, fast set rules of no matter what, It's like, no, that's just how you can tell it's maturity and it's wisdom, because that in itself is always just evolving and changing. And
it's fundamental, right? So one would ask, well, what if something happens to you that's never happened to you before? How are you prepared for that? If you can only speak to what you know and what you've gone through, how do you handle something unknown? I fall back on my fundamentals. I fall back on how I approach situations, right? I fall back on my thought process. I fall back on how I establish goals. I fall back on prioritizing actual situations. Like, I fall back on what I know, which is why being fundamentally sound matters so much.
Right.
And in order to say those kind of things, what are you doing to yourself? Are you deliberately putting yourself through hard situations? Are you self-inducing pain? Are you self-inducing stress? Are you self-inducing an unknown? Trying something new? Running at a different time at night? Trying yoga? Trying jujitsu? Are your workouts actually hard?
Yeah.
I see you motherfuckers on Instagram. Your shit ain't hard.
Yeah.
Fucking
Dude,
exercise,
those
man.
are
Get the
questions.
fuck out of here. And marketing, right? Like, people see that and like, dude, I got into this debate with this guy and I won. Right? Because you got all these dudes shredded, big, shredded, juiced out of their mind.
Okay.
Using exercise bands. Best workout I've ever had in my life. Keeps me shredding when I'm like,
Is that the sponsored ad we're always seeing on Facebook?
probably.
That guy.
Probably.
Bald dude. Yeah.
Yeah, the doctor. Fucking listen. We literally have prior Mr. Olympias getting paid money. And when you come from the supplement world, those motherfuckers don't take those supplements. They get paid to put those supplements in their pictures.
Yeah.
I know what they take.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying steroids. Guys take supplements too, but they have their own arsenal of what pre-workouts they like to mix, what protein they like after the gym, what proteins they like at night or in the morning. And it's not always the brand that sponsors them, but the brand that sponsors them that's paying the money is the shit that they're putting in their photos, right? Like, and then we have these guys that are shredded and huge doing these exercise bands saying it's the best work of my life and it does it. I'm like, and maybe, let me just take your side for a minute. Maybe time under tension with that rubber band is awesome for you. What we're negating is 25 years of heavy ass iron that created a physique that you're now maintaining with a rubber band.
Right.
While still on hormones.
Different story, bro. Different story. While still on hormones, yeah.
That's not marketing, right? So but to their defense, if you're stupid enough to believe that bullshit, buy your rubber band, make a cock ring out of it and jack off, okay? I don't give a fuck. Like, you should know better. You should understand, like, it's just not that simple, right?
Yeah.
But just the integrity behind stuff. But again, we should know, like, what's bullshit, what's not bullshit. And I think a lot of times people know that, but because society makes it okay, or your friends pity you, and oh yeah, girl, fuck him. He was a jerk. Was he?
Dude, that's where...
Was he? Man, like,
that
and this is why, dude, this is why I talk to myself sometimes, which gets dangerous at night. This is why I have a lot of self-reflection, self-awareness, and a lot of self-conversations happen before I ever open my mouth to you or to anyone else, man. Like, because you have to be afraid a little bit to, like, hey, who pats my fanny? Dude, who makes it okay? And whoever does, go have fun with them and have a beer and things like that. But if you're looking for advice, they might not be the right person, man.
That's why I put you in my life, bro. Here's the thing, like, talking about laziness again, I keep coming back to this. Just like we have positive fundamentals that we can fall back on, I think a lot of us have, I'll call them habits, just those negative or self-sabotaging fundamentals or habits that you'll fall back on. And one of them is being a lazy thinker. A lazy thinker takes things at face value. A lazy thinker will let her girlfriend say, "Oh, your man's a piece of shit, fuck him, blah, blah, blah." When you know damn well, girl,
you stabbed him with a fork.
Yeah. You know in the back of your head that you weren't the best girlfriend you possibly could have been. When you get fired and you're just pissed off at that boss for letting you go, it's like, dude, at the back of your head, you're a lazy fucking thinker. You're just too lazy to go layers deep. And this is a recurring theme on our podcast too, of just questioning things in a positive light, going deeper, not taking things at face value. In addition to yourself, when you're feeling things, taking a minute before you react, taking a fucking day for that matter, and thinking, all right, why am I feeling this way? Why am I having this sort of reaction? Why can I not get up to go to the gym before work no matter how many times I set my alarm? What really is happening here? And how can I backtrack this to get to the root of the problem and actually have a solution? Just don't be a lazy thinker, guys.
I love it. I think a lot of people don't. Even I haven't really thought of it like that. Like, I'd like to think I'm not a lazy thinker.
You're not.
But I like how you put it. I enjoy that and just understanding, like, when you're looking for advice, just understanding, like, where that's coming from, who's giving you that advice, what their agenda is, where their priorities are, and like, if you're looking around for all of that, maybe just step up. So if you're looking for the advice and you're not, like, for Eli and I, we talk a lot, and I get it, and we've got some really cool real estate training that's coming up, and we're creating a whole program around it. Well, why? Well, after being in the industry for a certain amount of time, we see the gaps. We see, like, you got big brokerages that take a lot of your money that quote unquote say they train you, and they don't. There's a lot of, like, fluffy training.
It's a slide.
That's one extreme.
They'll give you access to a slideshow you could watch.
Yeah, or you can go take a class for 4 months, 3 times a week, and, like, yet people aren't converting. So the training is like hocus pocus. Not everyone. So if you got a great brokerage and you're happy with where you're at, I'm obviously not talking about you. And then we have the other side of the pendulum, where you got brokerages that brag about letting you keep all of your money. They don't train you shit. You can just go and pay your transaction fee, but you're on your own. Well, that's not necessarily productive either. Sometimes it's good to run ideas by people, or if you've got an idea, brainstorm it and map it out and actually bring it into fruition, right? And just creating that. So we see a gap there. So instead of complaining about it, instead of wishing there were more, or instead of doing all that, and we've got 8 agents on our team and we're already slammed for time, right? Because we do one-on-one accountability meetings and all this stuff. So we started thinking, like, what if we scaled that? So again, when you see a gap, especially if you want to be a leader, being a leader, like a lot of times we talk about, like, is that born? Are you a born leader? Are you a born this? I don't know. What I do know is if you do want to be a leader, sometimes it's just in you, because you'll see gaps. You'll see opportunities where things aren't happening, and you just step up and make it happen. Yeah. You're not doing it for recognition. You're not necessarily even doing it for like a financial advancement quite yet. You just see a gap and you want to contribute and make people better. Well, we're looking at a gap in real estate right now. And we've got a ton of stuff that we've made a lot of agents better with. And we figure, like, why don't we scale that? Why don't we package that? And why isn't that online? And like, why don't we make that better? And in addition to that, we'll have a bunch of free webinars that go with it, so we can actually help people convert. And look, whether you want to work for a bigger brokerage or a smaller brokerage, whatever it may be, we want to be that piece that fills a gap, that helps you scale, that helps you get better. So as a leader, when you're looking around for other people to maybe step up and no one's stepping up, you might want to do that yourself. And you might be surprised, man. Like, my first experience, I kind of wrote this down, was School of Infantry. So when I was done with baseball and decided to go to the Marine Corps, I go to the Marine Corps. They have this thing where if you finish, college or a certain amount of college or whatever, you can like get a rank, you can get a promotion in your contract. So gotcha. Contract, private first class. So you have private first class. Okay. That's corporal, right? Well, a lot of guys, they had good recruiters or whatever, good quoting. And guys were coming out of like a little bit of college or whatnot and got a contract promotion. So they went into the Marine Corps as a private first class.
Gotcha. So they didn't actually have to do anything. They just came into it. Gotcha.
Right. As an E2.
Yeah.
So, and then, they like do decent in boot camp, right? In boot camp. And there's still politics in boot camp.
Yeah.
And maybe they're an honorary guard. So they get another promotion. So now they're a Lance Corporal. Now they're an E3.
Still haven't done shit.
You just graduated boot camp.
Yeah,
and now
gotcha.
We're going to School of Infantry for everyone that chose that. Some guys chose to push paper. We're not going to get into that. Guys that chose to do the shit, they go to School of Infantry. School of Infantry in 05. It's no joke. We literally had guys that were off of OIF1, Operational Record 3-1, and we had combat veterans that had just got done deploying and whatnot that were instructors for School of Infantry.
Okay.
You're not at the barracks at boot camp anymore. So there's no lieutenants and captains, and there's no like family on Thursdays walking around to save your ass. There's a little bit of like, they can only fuck you up so much in boot camp because there's still,
yeah,
parents are showing up. There's still officers that kind of come check, make sure you haven't killed anyone.
Yeah.
And there's requirements for, you still got to get sleep. Okay. Like, there's still that. As hard as it was, don't get me wrong, it was more of a culture shock that was hard. But there were some guidelines that they just had to adhere to. You got people like, or organizations like Mothers of America that just hate those people, the armed forces. And you got, there's just guidelines. And I'm sure some of them are needed. Don't get me wrong. Bottom line is there's just some of that involved. You go to School of Infantry, you graduated, right? Boot camp. So you're a Marine. Yep. You're a Marine now.
Yep.
No parents come by. There's no captains wandering the forest looking for you, right? Like, and you got a bunch of combat veterans that are infantrymen that just got done going through Fallujah, Ramadi, that are there to make you better and make a Marine. And dude, they're not there to like kill you. Like, they're like your big brother.
Okay.
They will fuck you up, but they love you.
Yeah.
You're a Marine and you're an infantryman. So you are going at some point. We are here to prepare you for war. Okay. That conversation, man, and the level of preparedness you have to be for war, it's just a conversation that's hard to have. Just understand all the pain and whatever they put you through, it was for the greater good. Like you hear me say this a lot. It comes from a good place. It looks evil.
Yeah.
But it comes.
Trust us.
It comes from a good place. And it did, man. They want their, we had a couple of, we had a guy just got promoted to staff sergeant. I'm not going to mention his name. Hardcore, bro. Legs shot up by an AK, waxed a ton of dudes, was still in the gunfight. They're putting him on this helicopter. He wouldn't let his gun go. Like, dude, but his leg got shot up by an AK. And just a savage, dude. This guy had just got done recovering and had like a surgery. He was out doing ruck runs with a knee brace with us. He was not going to fail his Marines. Yeah, he wanted to just train. And he was like, hey, I know where you're going. I remember one time, dude, it was toward the end of School of Infantry. And we were like hardcore at this point, right? Because we're almost graduating School of Infantry. So we're like, awesome, right? We're like, yeah, you ain't shit. But you're coming up on graduation, just like a senior in high school. Just like a week before graduating boot camp. Like you kind of get that pride, when you're coming across a graduation. Dude, we slacked off a live fire movement, and it wasn't as good as it could have been. And he was they were working us all day, and the staff sergeant was pissed, dude, and he wasn't even talking. We didn't even know he was mad. We sit down in a circle at night. It's dark. Got a little fire, like an ammo can or something, and he walks up, man, and he starts saying names and blood types. Uh-oh. He's got this ring, right? He's got this like keychain, which is a dog tag necklace that he shortened. Okay. He starts reading, not reading, just reading by memorization, names and blood types. And he starts flicking through dog tags. He went through like 15 of them. And he said, hey, these are my Marines. These are Marines that died. He had their dog tags, still blood on them. It was like, hey, this can't get any more real. You better shut the fuck up and apply yourself, or you're going to be dead, or even worse, you're going to have Marines that die because it's your fucking fault, right? So just that level, man. So moving backward, okay, like when I talk about, and this is my whole point, when you're looking around for like leadership or for something to help you, one, don't always expect it to be there. Secondly, that might be your opportunity to step up, dive in, and figure it the fuck out. Yeah. Here's what I'm getting at. Very beginning of School of Infantry, we had been in there a week. We had three or four honorary Lance Corporals, okay, because they were private first class going into boot camp. They got promoted because they were the guide or they did something in boot camp. Cool. So by default, you have to get a promotion with that award. So you're a Lance Corporal. We had like four of them going through. Meanwhile, I'm still a private.
Yeah.
You don't get any lower.
Right,
and I didn't, dude, when I went, like my best friend dies in Iraq, I left baseball. I didn't give a fuck, bro. I just wanted to go. I didn't even know you could get contract promotion. I didn't care.
Yeah.
Anyway, not getting salty toward that. Here's where I started learning it. We go to School of Infantry. After like, you go to boot camp, you get like a week off, you go, to go see your mommy and go fuck your girlfriend because you're a Marine now. Good for you, right? And then you're going to School of Infantry. That shit's real, bro. Yeah. And back then, it was about as real as it gets. Okay. No disrespect to any other generation of Marine. That's about as real as it gets. We get there, dude. That first week, bro, just the runs and the hikes, and they were just physically putting your body through real work.
After that week off, too.
Yeah. And
they be rough.
100%. And they weren't even being dicks. It was just like, this is how we become an infantryman. This is how you get prepared physically for hikes, for firefights, for everything. That first week was rigorous. They had there was two separate platoons, or I think, no, there might have been 4 platoons. I can't remember. That had Lance Corporals in charge. By default, they were highest rank. Okay, you're the guide. So you're in charge. So you're the student. You're the infantry Marine student who's in charge of this platoon. And then another one for this platoon. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you're the student still. You're a Marine, but you're a student. You have instructors who are sergeants and staff sergeants and gunnies. You're new, so you're going through School of Infantry, but you're the guy in charge of the class.
Got you.
Does that make sense?
Yep,
So,
100%.
dude, all fucking 4 of them got fired. They were fucking up. Now, here's the deal. You're kind of supposed to fuck up. Like, you're just not going to be successful at everything. You're new. You're new to School of Infantry. It's a time of war. These dudes are super hard on you. You're going to fuck up a lot.
Okay.
These dudes fucked up, man. And they got fired. Didn't try to get their position back to be guide. They were like, nope, I'm done. We're standing there in formation. One of the sergeants walks out. He was super cool. Oddly good looking. I can't remember what he looked like. But he was like a real calm. You felt like he was like a Dexter.
Okay.
Like super calm, but like, hey man, are you still in your own head?
Something's going on there. Yeah.
Killing so many people. I don't know.
What are you doing?
Oddly calm. Yeah. Like the guy you're waiting to snap. He just never snapped.
Yeah.
He was always calm. He comes out and he goes, well, this happened again. So who's stepping up? Who's going to be guide?
Yeah.
So I raise my hand.
Man right here.
He goes, Grimes, put your fucking hand down. I put my hand down. He goes, let me ask again. Let me be clear so you guys know what I'm asking for. Super sarcastic. Who's going to step up and be guide? Nothing. I raised my hand. He's like, Grimes, put your fucking hand down, please. Put my hand down. He goes, out of all you Lance Corporals, and not to mention all the other guys that have been promoted to private first class, so still one ahead of me, he goes, you guys are going to let this guy with no rank be the only fucker that raises his hand. He goes, okay. Because no one raised their hand.
Why?
Scared? Didn't want the responsibility. Dude, we saw Lance Corporals. And some of these guys were in great physical shape, dude. They were beasts. A lot of times, like, when you get promoted out of boot camp, you're just usually like a physically fit dude that just excels. Yeah. You're a good runner. You're good at Bugle 6. You excel. No one stepped up. He goes, Grimes, put your fucking hand up. So I put my hand up. He goes, great, you're a guide. We had one of the funniest gunnery sergeants, okay? I know I'm getting long-winded. I'm reminiscing.
You're good.
I wish I could mention his name. I hope other people know. He comes out, and I'm standing in front of the platoon, right? We're all in formation, so now I'm in front, right? And this gunny, he starts walking up, and he's like, Grimes, you're a guide, huh? Like, that's just how he talked. And he's like, call people pussies, dude. Like, I had no rank, but he's like, he asked the fucking sergeant, what the fuck's this all about? And he's like, well, Grimes is the only one that raised his hand. You know, and again, like, so some people are like, oh, you're cocky. No, like, I went to the Marine Corps to test myself. I went to the Marine Corps to give it all I could with what I had. So when I'm talking about your fitness and your diet and your business etiquette, are you doing all you can with what you have? That's the same way I started my Marine Corps career, through boot camp, through School of Infantry. It was just taking it a day at a time and just giving all I had with what I had. Right? And this is where I started rubbing people the wrong way, unintentionally. Rank. These guys were Lance Corporals and PFCs, and I was just a private, man. But now I'm guide. And I literally stayed guide all the way through graduation. I never got fired. Part of that role was having to tell people that were higher ranks, that were fucking pussies. I had to tell them what to do. I had to delegate responsibilities. That's your job. So it's nothing personal. We're delegating responsibilities. And I got a couple smart ass remarks that had nothing to do with me and everything to do with them being a fucking pussy about it, right? And nighttime comes. Everyone goes to bed. You're up for the first hour to make sure that night watch, guys staying up at night, protecting the barracks. You got to make sure the schedule's made, and you got to stay up for the first hour to make sure that first rotation goes. Guess what you do in the morning?
Same thing.
You're up an hour early, hour and 15 minutes early, because you got to shower, be in camis, be ready to go. Prior to that last fire watch getting up, that's on watch for the last hour. You got to make sure he gets up, okay? And you got to make sure he's ready to go and he's alert, and then everyone else wakes up. So I was staying up way later, getting up way earlier. I was still getting, here's what's funny. We're going to talk about physical fitness. I was still working out at night. Yeah, dude. I was still going to the gym. That was just something I took from baseball. I wanted to get it in for my mental. And unintentionally, I started having a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, and I started segregating myself from the masses because I'm like, I work harder than you. I don't give a shit. And I also understood, like, some of the shit behind rank. Rank doesn't mean a goddamn thing if you're going to be a bitch, if you're not going to lead from the front, if you're not going to step up and take responsibility. It's all going to fall back on the man. Now, here's what's great about the Marine Corps. You get out of School of Infantry, no one cares about your rank. They care about who you are as a person and how proficient you are. But I had to, at an early age in my career, I had to learn, man, how to, like, not be a people pleaser. This helps me now. I'm outspoken. You're not going to like what I say sometimes. Sometimes it's like, well, that's unfortunate. And sometimes it's like, yeah, no, I know you don't like what I have to say right now, and it tickles me. I'm glad that you're understanding what I say so much to the point where it's bothering you, because I want it to bother you. I need it to bother you because I need to see you grow. From a super young age in the Marine Corps, man, I started learning about how, like, my self-integrity, my self-awareness, trusting my instinct, and which Marines, which people to gravitate to. Because I had friends that were there, man. I had good Marines that supported, and if I asked for something, they did it. And that staff sergeant that got shot up in his leg, that fucking guy would pull me into his office or in the field when everyone was asleep 2-3 times a week. And he would tell me, hey, people are going to hate you. People are going to, hey, this. He literally was giving me what he had gone through as a leader himself through his experience so far in the Marine Corps. Hey, here's what's going to happen to you. Here's how you prepare. Here's what's going to happen. Here's what you need to be doing. So I learned at a young age how to like gravitate to some of the instructors if I needed them, gravitate to some of the guys that were still students with me that supported what I was doing, and not be so harsh and like be so serious of the opinions of the masses. Because even at that level, dude, I'm so prideful about being an infantryman. You don't get better than Marine Corps infantry. You just don't. That's a bull ride. Like you're bringing the fight to the fight. You ain't sneaking around shit. Those guys are hardcore, man.
Right.
They're hardcore. But even within those ranks, like there's guys that are insecure. There's guys that are going to be mad or frustrated about certain things when they had every opportunity to step up and make a change, but don't. So for me, I had to learn super young of like which opinions matter, which don't. And no matter which one you're looking at, how do I feel at the end of the day as far as what I'm doing as a person? Huge. Now, if you haven't had that experience, I get it. But you got to find a way to have some of that self-awareness, man, and like really understand like how do I dive back into myself, which again, man, like that's why I love fitness so much, because the gym is not going to lie to you. It's going to take you a long ass time to get results, which gives you perspective on time. It gives you perspective on the level you're starting, and it gives you forgiveness to understand that you're going to make improvements over time and get better. And where you're at is where you should be. Now it's time to get consistent. Like the gym doesn't lie to you, and it's that type of reference is powerful, and you can get a lot from it, just like I have, and like I have from the Marine Corps.
Dude,
huge.
You can. And that's why, like, hearing those stories, dude, and also being the type of person, if you haven't physically gone through those sorts of things and been able to learn those sort of lessons from your own personal experiences, that's what fucking books are for. That's what podcasts are for. That's what YouTube is for. So that you can shift your perspective and see, you know, learn from other people's experiences that they've gone through. You don't have to go through the Marine Corps if you haven't, right? I don't have that opportunity. However, I can educate myself and hear other people's perspectives and see how I can apply that to my own life. And then in addition to that, all the mental shit there, purposefully putting myself through stressful situations on a daily basis, physically, they're going to help me get that same sort of a similar experience where I can take that and learn from it and hopefully gain some of the skill sets that you have.
100% you can. And here's why like that's so important. Even when I was going through that, like I just mentioned, I had that staff sergeant go, hey, come here. And he would talk to me, and he didn't talk to me in front of the other Marines on purpose. He wasn't going to like just air what they're about to do. And like, no. It was about, he was having leadership conversations with me. He was like, hey man, here's what you're going to be going through. Are you good? Can you take it? Yep. Okay. But you're up at this time and you're going to bed at this time. Like, here's everything I need from you. And these guys are going to give you shit. You better not give a fuck.
Yeah.
Grimes, you better get the fuck done what I need done.
Yep.
But here's what, and it was about like, hey, I'm your instructor. If I need something done, don't you come to me without it done. It better fucking get done. If it doesn't get done, you're fired. And we're talking every task, dude. We're talking like, how much shit we did every day.
God. Yeah.
And if they weren't getting done,
you're gone.
Fired.
Yep, you're gone.
Right? But he's like, in addition to that, let me warn you. Here's what your peers, and here's what these other infantry students that have higher rank than you, hey, here's what they're going to be doing. I don't give a fuck. Still get this done. So whatever you got to do within this rank to handle your shit, you better fucking handle it, Grimes.
Yeah.
If you got to handle them, handle them.
Yeah.
If you got other Marines that support you, rally around them and make sure guys are stepping up. Whatever. However, if I need something done, you better come to me, it better be done. But he was forecasting.
Yeah.
And that, dude, even that little bit of saying, hey, these guys that are going to give you kickback, it's normal.
Yeah.
Hey, guys are going to not like that you have the power now. Guys are not going to like that they didn't step up. Hey, there's going to be certain things that you just deal with when you're in a room. We're in a squad bay full of alpha males that decided to join Marine Corps infantry during a time of war. Good luck. You're in a cage with a bunch of lions.
Yeah.
Here's how you need to conduct yourself. But just having that breath of fresh air from a leader saying, hey, look, here's what you're going to go through. It's okay. Expect that. However, I'm not letting that be an excuse for why you're not getting your expectations done. But that forecast is the same thing when you and I talk in business. You give me forecasts like I'm relearning humans in society. And you're like, yes, Will, you call me Will instead of Grimes. William, sit
Will.
down. Sit, Heather. Come hither. Okay, like you do a lot of that. So it's not, again, dude, it's not like I don't take things from you.
Yeah.
It's all about the trust and the people that you have around you to, one, call your bullshit and hold you to expectations. However, can also help with some forecasting on just what to expect. That way you've got some type of perspective walking into something, even if you haven't done it before, right? Big deal.
Yeah. Well, I think what's important to take away from that stuff kind of before we wrap up here is, again, the first point you opened up with, being a good student. I think whatever you're doing, no matter what your real role is, no matter if you're, leader, CEO, whatever your position is, always trying to be a good student in some